it gives you that retro feeling straight away. Yeah? The sitting position is like you're sitting on the sofa. It goes boop, boop. Yeah, the throttle handle is tricky. Yeah, and it's way different than the standard Z900. It's going to be a +1 in the final verdict. Yeah, I'm smiling the entire time. I have to say no. Alright guys, how you doing? I'm testing the Kawasaki Z900 again, but this is a different edition. This is the RS. It's a retro style sports bike. It looks really cool, especially if this is your segment, you know, that retro looking. Oh, and it's fast. So a fast retro bike, Z900. The first time I tested the Z900, the original one, you know, it's a really pleasant bike, a lot of power, but you can drive really easy with it as well. This is different, agile, not too agile, you know, that it's too easy to corner, just the way you expect it to be. And it's powerful, not as powerful as the Z900, the original one, standard version, if you want to call it like that, because the normal version has 125 horsepower. And this is only 111, so 14 less. Still a 4 inline 4. Okay, let's see. Oh, yes, fast. No quick shifter though. Yeah, it's a retro style bike, so it's a bit odd, you know, if you have a quick shifter. But it looks good. It really gives you that retro feeling straight away, and it behaves a bit more aggressive, a bit more wild. Yeah, that's a different characteristics as the normal Z900, but it's not too much. And in a way, the Z900, if you go full throttle, second gear, sometimes it was a bit too much. This is pretty handleable for anyone, also a beginner. So, but the sitting position is like you're sitting on the sofa. You know, look at this. It's really fluffy, really soft, and it does have a great sound though. Of course, it's still limited to Euro 5+ regulations, but it's a standard exhaust. Makes a cool sound. Way better than the normal Z900 sound. Standard exhaust, of course. Yeah, it's a bit more untamed, you know? A bit more aggressive, a bit more wild, but not too much. Oh, throttle handle is quite tricky, so after 10% of the throttle it goes boop, boop. And I think that's a bit of that retro feeling, you know. Nowadays everything is limited due to the electronics and stuff like that, which is fine, especially for a beginner rider. That's fantastic that we have all those electronic stuff that helps us out when we make mistakes. But this is a bit more tricky on the throttle handle. Therefore, I guess they put 111 horsepower in it instead of 125. I'm not sure if this is sport mode. Brakes are decent. Even the handles, you know, for the clutch and for the front brake, they feel retro. I don't know what it's made of, but it's really that 80s kind of feeling. And that's what you expect from a retro style bike, right? But for now, 5 minutes in, pleased. I'm very pleased, yeah. But not comparable. Especially not comparable to the normal Z900. Yeah, the throttle handle is tricky. Thank God it's only 111 horsepower and not 211. Otherwise I would be in danger right now, in trouble. It's playful. It's a playful bike. You need to go up in gears because it's really vroom, vroom, vroom. So if you want to have an easy ride, you need to go up in the gears. So I'm in 5th now. normally with a 4-cylinder, because it is a 4-cylinder, don't forget. Normally you would be in 3. Yeah, 3. You can be in 2. You can be even in first gear with a 4-cylinder. It's not really pleasant, but I'm sure you can. I'm missing the really missing the quick shifter. You really get easy adjusted to a quick shifter after you had it for a few times. So now I instantly miss it. And at the beginning, when the quick shifter came up, I was like, no, I want to do it myself. You know, it's the same thing that you had with cars, you know. Cars became automatic and we said, no, I want to shift gears myself. I want to have the feeling of riding it myself. And now we all want automatic, right? Because it's better. It's better. It's so fully optimized. The same with the quick shifters for motorcycles nowadays. This bike is really sporty. You're in a I'm not even going that fast, but it feels I'm going way faster than I did. That's the fun factor, you know. You don't need to go really up in high speed to get that feeling. I was only at 80 kilometers an hour plus and it felt like I was going 160. That's fun. Adrenaline. Yeah. Yeah, you can really have fun with this bike for sure. I already have fun. 5 minutes in, fun. And it's way different than the standard Z900, and it's a bit of a shame that they call it the Z900. Of course, they look at the cylinder and it's the Z segment of Kawasaki, but still, this should have a different name because it's not comparable at all. That's my honest opinion. It's not comparable. It's way different. The looks, the behavior, everything, the sound. But this is a fun bike. I just came from the Versys 1100. Not my style, not my thing, but just watch the video because it has some decent power, and I unleashed that power during the video suddenly. So that was kind of cool. Yeah, this bike doesn't have that much of power. I don't think it's in sport mode. I cannot see it on this little screen, you know, that retro style looking screen. It really fits the bike though, but it's really hard to see what the bike is up to. Is this normal mode, sport mode, whatever? I don't know. I have the feeling this is not sport mode. If you have 111 horsepower, you should have more torque. The torque, by the way, is 1 Newton meter higher than the normal Z900. That's strange, right? So it has 98 and the normal one has 97, but it has slightly less horsepower, 14. So, and you do feel that. You do feel it. I do feel that it has less than the Z900 normal edition. Speed wasn't that high, trust me, but it felt like I was going 200. And that's way better than the opposite feeling, that you're going 200 and it feels like you're going 100. So yeah. If you compare this to, you know, like the standard amongst motorcycle riders, you know, the MT-07, a lot of people have driven it before or had their driving lessons on the MT-07. This is way more fun. Yeah. And that's a 2-cylinder, of course. This kind of behaves like the MT-07, which is a 2-cylinder, and that's why I'm surprised, because I do have power in the low range, I do have power in the mid range, which is comparable to a 2-cylinder, right? So I'm a bit... Yeah, Yeah, it's a really easy to handle bike. No surprises there, and also the cornering, it's really good, you know. It's perfectly feeling the weight you want to put into it, to go to right, to left. Just you move your hips, and it corners really smooth, but not too smooth, because the Z900 normal edition is a bit too smooth. You can make really small narrow corners, just like the Z650, but this is a more, you feel there's a bit more weight into it, and it feels pleasant. It's yeah, therefore the bike behaves really well in the corners. Oh, that throttle handle. That's the first time I have a bike that the throttle responds straight away. And I think they did it on purpose, that retro style from back then. Nice, 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 nice. Great sound, great sound. That's going to be a +1 in the final verdict later on. Standard exhaust, still a nice sound. Yeah, it's really balanced, this bike. Yeah, I'm smiling the entire time when riding this, and coming from that Versys 1100, that was the opposite, and had more horsepower, 135, this is 111. Brakes really well. No surprises when braking. Front brake, rear brake, they do exactly what you expect. But it's a tricky bike. Oh, the throttle hand. The throttle hand, need to get used to that. After 10% it's already, it feels like I'm on a super bike, you know, that it has to tame all the horsepower is available. But this bike is a true banger. When you're, I don't want to say you're a bit older, but when you from that era, I think this is 70s, 80s looking bike, not sure. I can truly imagine that this is something that you prefer. It brings you back to those times when you were younger. It gives you that thrill of maybe your first moped, first motorcycle. Yeah, I think Kawasaki really outperformed themselves with this bike, because it even brings me a lot of joy, even when this is not my category that I normally prefer, the retro style bikes. Yeah, I've tested more than 30 bikes over the past year, and not all of them gave me a smile on my face, but this is one of them. If you have the possibility to test it, sure do. Trust me, you'll have fun. Just focus on the throttle handle, it's a bit tricky, but you don't have that much of power that it will become dangerous. So just keep it in mind. Still, I'm only using 8,000 max of RPM. I can easily go to 10, and that's that fun factor of inline 4. You need time to adjust your riding style, become confident, because there's so much more in the tank you can use. bikes gives me a thrill, adrenaline rush, but still I'm in control. The engine is so well tuned that it gives you power and torque all the entire time. Low range, mid range, probably high range. You're not even able to go there. That's not standard for a 4-cylinder inline 4. Normally it's low range, mid range, nothing there, and then suddenly it pops in. But now it's there straight away, and therefore it kind of feels like the MT-07 tuned, massively tuned, massively tuned. This bike, it really has a great sound. For a standard exhaust, this is all limited to the regulations we have here in Europe. Then it's an A+ for sound within these regulations. You know, beforehand you always think about your rides. Am I going to have fun? Am I going to enjoy myself? And today I was on the Versys 1100 and then later on this bike, and I thought, well, we'll see. I'm not really that looking forward to it. Okay, the Versys, meh, but this one made my day, made my weekend, made my week for sure. Having fun. And I think that no, I'm not gonna say it. I wanted to say it's better than the normal Z900, but that's not true, because that's an all-round bike that suits everyone. I think the Z900, everyone will love the Z900. This is more for a bit more aggressive riders, sporty kind of riders who really want to have fun and seek adrenaline. This is not for the normal rides through the city. No. This is a bike. You're not going to work with this bike, motorcycle. You're not going to cruise around with this motorcycle. You're just going how to have some fun. Yeah. Want to hear the sound with my visor down. Yeah. Love it. That tricky throttle handle really gives it a cutting edge towards other bikes. I never had this before, especially with just only 111 horsepower, which is really decent, of course. Especially if you compare it to an MT-07 with only, what is it? 73? But it's really tricky on the throttle, but that makes it way more fun. Because you have that instant adrenaline rush. Instant. All the time. Yeah, look at this. I'm 2 meters tall, 6'7". And look at this. You can still add a few inches, few centimeters, 10. And you still have a perfect sitting position. No issues there. Alright, is this a beginner bike? This is the first time I tested more than 30 bikes, and this is the first time I have to say no. Because if you just had your driving license and you start out with this bike and you never had 111 horsepower, so 100 plus, and you have that tricky throttle handle, you might be overwhelmed. Yeah, so be aware. So this is the first time I'm questioning if it's a beginner bike, and I probably would say no within this range. You know, it's not a super bike, of course, but the way it handles, it's aggressive in a way. So yeah. Oh, again. You saw me pulling away in first, and a tricky throttle handle came in, and I was like, whoop, whoop. If you do that with 200 horsepower plus, you are in trouble, mate. Trust me, you have some serious issues. So thank God it's only 111, and it's good for me to exercise with the tricky throttle handle, which I think is quite normal for riding a superbike, which I will do later on if I'm more experienced, of course. Whew. I don't think you can have a chill out ride with this Z900RS. I don't think so. Curb zones. The guy in front of me, he has a Ninja 500. It was quite fast though. Look at this. Not really. I see that after a few seconds, like 1, 2, 3, after 4 seconds, this bike has more to offer than that 500. But the first few seconds it's just as fast, and I think that only has, it's for an A2 license, so 48 horsepower, 45. The first seconds it's just as fast as this one, yeah, and it's a 2-cylinder. But yeah, it's a sports bike though. So yeah, this has, of course, it's an inline 4, DAF4. That rhymes. You get that bit extra after the, you know, when the 2-cylinder kills out in power and torque, this one comes to life. But you don't really have the possibilities around here, you know, to go further and go, you know, full throttle for 10 full seconds. We're not on track, right? Stupid sand on the road. The fact that they didn't add a quick shifter is fine by me. If it would have a quick shifter, it would have been a con. I really would say this doesn't make sense to put a quick shift on a retro style bike. So it was a wise decision of Kawasaki, I guess. Yeah, I've been on it for 30 minutes now, more or less. I'm sweating, and yes, it's because of the sun. It's really warm today. The sun is out, 25 plus. But this bike really makes you put to work. If you ride this for an hour, after that you need to sit on the couch and relax. You see, there was full gas, and I was not, you know, getting closer to that Ninja 500. So, but looking at the revs, I was only using like 50% of my performance, I guess. The throttle handle. Steering is superb. Sitting is superb. Okay, I'm gonna give my verdict because I just want to. Yes, this is high grades. Comfort-wise, sitting position, really good. Fluffy cushion behind your butt. Oh, yeah, that sitting position it's aggressive. It's a bit to the front, really like a naked bike. It's not a cruiser, it's not a tourer, it's an aggressive retro naked bike. Is it naked? Yeah, it is naked at the sides. So yeah, this bike really surprised me today, and I have to say that comfort wise, even the steering, stuff like that, it's really good. But that tricky throttle handle is on one side a pro, because it really adds to that excitement level and the way you experience this bike, but it makes it really difficult for beginner riders. So I see it as a pro but also a con. So comfort. Yeah, it's an aggressive bike and a bit tricky in a way, but still comfort. I give it an 8. Yeah, I'm in a good mood. The sun is out. Excitement level, well, you can tell, right? This bike is a banger. Gives you a lot of excitement the entire ride, the entire half hour plus. I had a smile, I had fun, adrenaline rush, but I still feel safe. And yeah, this is going to score high on the excitement level. It's a 9, so this is a really good grade for this bike that I didn't look forward to test, and therefore test them all, even if you think, nah, not my thing. But this is a bike I want to be on many more times in the future. Yeah. Alright guys, yeah, I want to thank you again for watching. Let me know what you think of this bike. Have you been on it before? Do you have the same experience as I had? I think it's an aggressive retro bike with a lot of fun for everyone. It rhymes again. But also I need to remind you of the Inline 4 app, early access content, exclusive content, premium content, whatever you want to call it. Let's grow the community, man. So thank you, take care. I'm gonna shut up again and you can enjoy the environment, the bike and the sound. See you later. Ciao. Oh, I just found out that I was looking at the wrong place on the display. I thought this was my speed. So every time I went up in speed, I saw just before it was like 108, and I thought, is it only 108 kilometers an hour? I thought it was more, but I had to look over here. So stupid, so stupid. This is like the analog retro style. Of course, that's how it worked back then. That is really silly of me. Okay, so I looked at this. So right now I'm thinking I'm riding 127, but no, it's just below 80. Sorry. Please don't put your thumbs down on this video because of this. Oh yeah. Okay, shut up.